sincerely hate indicating this thing. I would just like to point out that I saw cut this side, and this side was already saw cut from the person that I got it from. Take a look at this. I want to divide it by 2.0007. I was only over 7/10,000ths of an inch on the saw cut. That's just cool. I never had that happen to me before. So this is a job shop job, and since I'm up on inventory for like the Fiesta and Focus and all that stuff for all my products that I sell, I would like to take on more job shop jobs. So this is also a job shop job. And given that, I'm not going to show the whole thing, but it gets a little tricky when I do the flip side. So I'm going to treat this like a very conservative aluminum. This is Free Machining C360 brass, something like that. But it's still fairly soft, like aluminum. So I'm going to machine the first operation, flip it over, and then continue with that. I'm going to do a test in between operations here. I'm going to do a test part, and that test part is going to be in black ABS because I happen to have it, and it seems like a fairly soft material where I'm not going to break anything like a tap. But we'll get to that part here in a little bit. First off, let's machine this part. So the shear hog did fairly well. I mean, I figured it would, but still, it did a heck of a job. I know this is a little bit harder. This is definitely a heavier material than aluminum. Just listen to that. That is the sound that I love to hear. This sounds so satisfying for some reason. That is until the air compressor kicks on. So here comes the real test. I have to use this 172 tap right here in order to thread the holes that I need. I need to thread 4 holes in this brass part. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try threading a piece of ABS first so I don't break a tap in the good part. I've never actually tapped on this machine before, but I have a tapping head. Lil. So I have this tapping head, and I've never used it before. So, I mean, if you haven't seen a tapping head before, this is what they look like, and it's on like a spring-loaded thing, and when it goes down and starts threading the hole, it'll lengthen like that, or it'll just adjust for the pitch of the threads because there's no encoder on this machine. And that is what she looks like. That's a 172 tap. That is a 172 tap next to an 1/8 inch drill bit. That's pretty small stuff, and since I've never tapped on this machine before, I'm really afraid that I'm going to break a tap. So I got 2 of these taps just to make sure that I wouldn't break one. These were relatively inexpensive, I guess you could say. I mean, this is the smallest drill chuck that I have, and still, it barely fits in there. I mean, it's rated for a 1/64 of an inch to a 1/4 inch, this drill chuck here, and this is a number 53 drill bit, so it's very close to a 1/64 of an inch, so it still should work okay. So before I go and tap into this piece of ABS, I want to just see what happens when I have the Z way up and just basically run the program without plunging into any material, just in case something bad happens. So that worked out fairly good for the most part, and I think it went a little bit deeper than I thought maybe. I don't know, we'll go ahead and try it. And we'll just go ahead and try it and see what happens. That was completely underwhelming. I can tell you my heart was beating out of my chest. I was expecting this thing to blow up into a million pieces. But I can promise you that there are threads in there, you just can't see them, and they're tiny anyway. Well, I went to move the camera and I forgot to turn it back on. You can sort of see the threads in that one right there, and it turned out good. And once again, my heart was pounding out of my chest. I really didn't want to break this tap, but it really ended up working out okay. So that was a fairly successful first time tapping anything. I usually like to thread mill everything because I did it one time, so I feel safe doing it now. I couldn't find a thread mill small enough to do 172 threads, and that is absolutely tiny. Like I said, I was freaking out doing it, and I might have turned myself into a fudge factory. Anyway, that was very insightful to do that the first time, and I'm really glad that I did it with the ABS first. Well, I'm really glad I did it into nothing first and then the ABS, just sort of working myself up because that gave me a little bit of confidence to do it into the material. And this brass isn't necessarily very hard either. I think it compares to basically a 1018 steel, right around like 75-ish Rockwell B scale. So we're not even touching the hard stuff. I think the stuff I mainly deal with at work is in like Rockwell C, and like 4140 pre-heat treat is probably right around 30 Rockwell C, and that's pretty hard stuff. I mean, I think the stainless steel I did a while back was maybe like 19 Rockwell C. Either way, this was fun. I enjoyed machining this material, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. The Shearhog took it very well. Like, once again, I took it pretty conservative. I think that's it for now, so if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. Thanks for watching.